Hello everyone and welcome to the second day of my FOSDEM vlog. Today we are heading down to FOSDEM itself. Today I'll be giving my talk and it's kind of the Saturday, so day one of the actual event. We're going to walk down. It's about a 40-minute walk, so hopefully I can get some cool shots of Brussels and get some extra footage in there as well. But other than that, we're going to get down there and we're going to get some footage of the actual event. I'm going to take loads of photos, do lots of video. We're going to see what's about. It's been a long time since I've been at FOSDEM, 10 years. So let's see what's changed. Let's see what's the same. And let's see what's going on the Kotlin track as well. I'm very excited to see what's going down from the Kotlin's perspective. So that'll be cool. Okay then, let's do it.
So unfortunately the weather was a bit terrible taking the walk. So I didn't use my gimbal. I was kind of excited to use it, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be okay in the rain. So decided against that and just went handheld. So it's a little bit more shaky than I would have liked. However, on the walk, there was this market, which is kind of cool. So I took a stop and had a look through, selling all sorts of fresh foods and stuff. And it was quite cool to look at. Didn't actually pick anything up. It was still very early in the morning and I was not thinking about food at this point. So continued on the walk and yeah, honestly, I thought it was a really great kind of 40-minute walk until maybe the last 500 meters or so, which was all uphill. And yeah, that definitely took it out of me. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot to start the day, but it was good fun. And yeah, before we knew it, I was up to the university where FOSDEM is held and made my way into their main kind of big lecture hall that they have, which is where it was all kicking off as the first kind of introductory talk and to open the event. So of course had to get in there and have a look at that. But once that was all over, it was time to obviously head over to the main Kotlin track, which was going to be my home for most of the day. Took a stop and had a look through some of the kind of food vendors that are going to be there. It looked like a good selection of different foods as well, so that was cool. I headed up to the Kotlin room and I've got some footage here where we kind of kicked things off with the opening and then a few different talks that were going on. So I'm going to leave you with some of this footage for now and I'll be back with you in a minute.
Again, super excited to get this kicked off. As we get this kicked off, well, I want to give up like a little bit of stats. First, I'm so proud to share that this year we received so many proposals for talks. We actually received more proposals than the Go Dev Room, than the than the Rust Dev Room, and than the JavaScript Dev Room. Which is happening tomorrow in this same dev room. And by the way, like if you're so much into Kotlin, make sure you don't miss tomorrow's JavaScript dev room opening talk by Luis. I don't know, is Luis in the room today? Yeah, switching slides, but yeah, it will open the JavaScript.
So with the Kotlin track kicked off, I thought I would stay for the first talk as well, which was the state of Kotlin, which seemed like a good opening talk. And that was by Marco and Sergey. And it was very interesting. Of course, they did also manage to slip some ChatGPT in there as well to stay relevant. We started that off and yeah, here's a snippet from that.
It's really not powered by the generative AI. I'm sorry for this. So it's powered by us. And we had to figure out what is Kotlin and what is the current state. So probably the first reasonable thing thinking about this is to get and try to understand any of the developer surveys available. And one of the most interesting one in this domain is the JetBrains developer survey that they run, I guess, every year from 2019 or 2020-ish.
And with the first talk done, I thought now was a good opportunity to head out and have a look at the rest of the conference. There is so much going on, it's impossible to see everything. There's something like 60 different tracks going on. But I did want to check out the booth areas. I did want to see who was vending there and what was going on there. So I headed over to the building that was holding some of that, and boy was it busy. it was incredibly busy in here, which was great to see. You know, there's a lot of developers all coming together, which is great. The other thing I really love about this event is none of the booths are bought. You have to request a booth, you have to kind of have a reason to be there, to be open source and all those sorts of things. If you're sponsoring the event, you don't get a booth. You have to kind of just apply like anyone else, which is great. You'll also spot a few wild VLC traffic cone hats, which I really wanted to get one of these. So I had to obviously find out how to do that. And you did that by spinning the wheel of VLC, which I thought was very cool. Unfortunately, I didn't win the cone and instead actually won a bottle opener, which was nice enough. So after all that, I thought, there's a lot of people, let's head outside for a bit and just unwind and enjoy some green space, which was very welcome.
Hello everyone. So it has been a busy day so far. We are kind of in the middle of the day. I've found a back area that I could just spend a minute to decompress and film an update. It's been busy, as you can probably see from the sheer amount of crowds. It's great to see so many people back for the first in-person FOSDEM in many years, about 3 years. So yeah, it's amazing. We're gonna head back to the Kotlin track now. There's still loads of really great talks I want to see, and then of course also give my talk. But yeah, I wanted to just check in with you, and yeah, it's going really well. Didn't win the cone hat, which is a shame, but such is life. So yeah, gonna head over there now, and yeah, let's see what other talks are on. I'll see you later.
So definitely one of the downsides to where the Kotlin room was it was on the 5th floor of one of the buildings, which means a lot of stairs. Obviously I've sped up this footage, but it was 5 floors up, and the only lift that they had was quite old, possibly the oldest lift I've ever seen, including mechanical buttons to actually select the floors. I think I have some footage of that I'll try and put in later in this video, but yeah, I wasn't going to trust it really. So I definitely preferred to take the stairs, even if it was a bit of a workout. But anyway, let's get into some talks. Here's some footage from a couple of the talks that I watched. And as always, all the links are down below if you'd like to go see those talks. The recordings are all on the FOSDEM website.
Generally used with annotations that are used to mark our code that needs a special treatment by the processor. In short terms, it's a lightweight compiler plugin that because it can just generate code and not modify some. A quick example here, I have a foo interface that is annotated to be processed. So a compiler.
Anyhow, also, there might be some behavior on multi-platform libraries you wouldn't expect, especially not to core libraries like datetime. If you compare the output of time zones, for example, you will be surprised. Let me call it like that. And if you write some tests and you are thinking they should be the same, I can tell you they are not. So also here, if you run over the case, maybe such functionality is already covered in Rust, so you don't have to re-implement the wheel, which is also great. And Kotlin native itself, if you ever had to write it, it can be really a menace. It just doesn't look great. Yeah, and it's super hard to read sometimes, and it's also, for that reason, super hard to maintain. If you have a native language where you can write it on the bottom level, like Rust, it's much better because the code in itself is much more readable.
Italy. We come from a small company in the southern Italy, and we decided to introduce Kotlin multi-platform in our code about a year ago. We did this because for us it was easier to develop, and also we wanted to share as much code as possible. We make libraries, so we didn't have the part of UI to transpose in multi-platform. And this is our journey in the multi-platform world.
Now, we've seen during this conference that with Kotlin Multi-Platform Mobile, we can develop a library that targets both Android and iOS by just writing the single code base in Kotlin. Now, if we look at what happens when we distribute a jar inside an Android library, we can say that the process is pretty straightforward. Now, for an Android developer, the language is the same, the IDE that uses is the same, and most of the library that we can use are the same. So we can't tell the difference between a library that was made.
Functional. And a little bit about myself. I've been doing Kotlin since 2015. I've been doing functional programming a bit longer than that, and well, I'm really in love with both things. So we try to improve things as much as we can. And I'm also one of the lead maintainers of Arrow, which is a functional library in Kotlin. So today I want to talk a little bit about functional programming in Kotlin, and there's three big topics that we often talk about, which are dependency injection, side effects, and typed errors. But I don't want to go into today is comparing it to different languages like Haskell or Scala, because I only have 20 minutes of time, so I need to kind of pick my topics. So I want to talk about...
Last time was online 2 years ago. And so today I want to show you no Kotlin line of code and just inspire you Kotlin developers who is already doing Kotlin here and who is not, to be easier to see. Okay, so it might be slightly less relevant for you, but still interesting going forward if you come to like Kotlin and want more support for it. One, so it's no code. That means that soft skills will be required if you want to leverage what you learn or what you might see as inspiration in this short talk. So, what can we do to push for better?
And then it was time for my talk. I do have some footage here from the recording of the talk. I don't have any in-room footage, unfortunately. But if you would like to check out the full talk, please do head over to my YouTube channel. I have the full talk there. It'll also be linked down below. But here are a few snippets from my talk.
And that's where C++ came in. And you can already see where the pain is coming from. It allowed for code. What that meant is the team that was left had to focus on fixing bugs in the current SDK. There wasn't the bandwidth to build something new. They had to keep supporting this thing that people were already using in production. It wasn't like we could just drop support and move on. Ashley returns to triumphant fanfare. He has come back, he is the saviour, and the team kind of say, look, we really need to do something now. We really need to come up with a plan for this year. We need to build something. So, in the inspiring words from Ashley, sod it, let's do it. And kind of the final point, we have tests now. And as you all know, tests are the key to saving developers time, effort, energy, and as developers are our world, that's how we've saved the world with Kotlin multi-platform. But honestly, also, it's just really nice to be able to rely on tests and they actually work. So yeah, that is what we've done with Kotlin multi-platform. If you would like to check out the SDK, please do. The QR code will take you to a GitHub community, which will give you the kind of tutorials and show you how to get started with the SDK with some sample apps. There's also a coupon code. If you do want to sign up for a developer account, you get 10 euros credit and you can send SMS messages and call yourself and all that sort of fun stuff. So please do check that out if you'd like to. But other than that, thank you very much. As always, my slides are available on GitHub if you'd like them. Thank you.
And that was that. Mission complete. Talk given. It seemed to go quite well. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. So, of course, do go check out the full talk if you want to. I'm hoping I'll be giving that same talk at many events this year as well. So that's always going to be fun. I thought now was a good time to try out this weird lift. I figured it must be usable, right? It's here for a reason. So we gave it a go. Like I said, the buttons were actually like proper mechanical buttons. It took me a minute to realise that you actually had to manually close the door yourself as well before it would go down. But after we did that, we were off. And it was kind of everything I was expecting it to be. Very, very old. Very much kind of like a service elevator or something. Not something you'd expect just as the main elevator in a building. But such is life. That is how it was. So it didn't take long to go down the 5 floors. But I was just very worried that it was going to get stuck. And in fact, I know that some people did get stuck in it at one point, and it must happen quite often. It just seems very strange that this hasn't been replaced. Maybe you know the history of this elevator. Maybe you've been to this university. And if you do, please do comment down below. I'll be very interested to find out about it. But we did make it down to the ground floor, and I headed out to have another look at the food, grab something to eat before the rest of the afternoon's talks. So here's another shot of the kind of food areas, and there really was a lot of options. I must admit, it was very good. I was very impressed. And yeah, grab myself some food and then head back up to the 5th floor again to round out the day with a few more talks. So I'll leave you with that footage and see you in a few minutes.
So we use a Kotlin metadata writer for that. And once we've done that, we can write out the class to overwrite the original file. So if we open the file now in the IntelliJ decompiler, we see that the function is now called newfoo. So what's important here is that we renamed the Java component, the method where the bytecode actually lives, and also the Kotlin metadata.
The intermission between the great talks today. I'm François Nollen, I'm with Julien Buret. We both work at SNCF Connect and Tech, SNCF being the French railway company. At first, we wanted to introduce Talk, the Open Conversation Kit. So Talk, it's an open platform. Maybe we can scroll a bit. In case you don't understand me, everything is written there. It's an open platform written in Kotlin to build chatbots, voice bots, call bots, conversational agents, and natural language processing applications. We started building Talk in 2016 when we started building production-ready business-to-customer chatbots for SNCF, which means for millions of French people.
Welcome, please.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my talk about data-oriented programming. Before we start though, we're talking about a paradigm here, and I kind of noticed people tend to have a bit strong opinions on paradigms. As in, with functional programming, people think that's way too complicated, and people who do functional programming think that object-oriented programming has been dead for about 20 years or so. As in, there are very strong opinions about these things. And I think that's a bit of a waste. Because in practice, there are no good or bad paradigms. Everything is good in a certain context, and worse in other contexts. So instead of actively hating another paradigm, or language for that matter, it's much more valuable to actually learn that thing and become a better programmer.
In that room, but we have two last talk. The first one is from Gerard. Take your shot of vitamin cross-platform design system. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming to my presentation. I am Gerard Paligo. I am mobile staff engineer at Decathlon Technology and also Google developer expert for Android. And today I will present you one work built in intern at Decathlon but published in open source, Vitamin. So what is Vitamin? Vitamin is a design system, it's a cross-platform design system. It means that it is available in multiple implementations. The first one is for designers in Figma, and the rest is technical implementation, so for web, Android, and
UI.
So, thank you very much. Hello, I'm István Juhos from TIR, and yeah, thank you all for still being here. That's really encouraging. So, let's get started. I'll be talking about testing Jetpack Compose UI on Android. So, first of all, just a little extra, there is a sample project, which I took all the samples in this talk from, so feel free to check it out on my GitHub page. Okay, so a quick recap on Android testing without Compose, so the regular view system. With Android, with the regular view system, we have views or view groups, which are objects created from inflating XML, and or of course from code, and they have rendering and behavior attached to them. And because of this, because of their actual object, we have a grasp on them. We can get the reference from code or reference for them from the view hierarchy by find view by ID or so.
First, well, it was awesome to have you here. Join the conversation on the FOSDEM channel on Kotlin Slack. There is where basically we announced the call for paper. We announced there will be a dev room. Also, we do have some possibility to shape the dev room in a way that fits better the community. Like we could do a 2-day dev room or a half-day dev room, or we could do like a half in-person and half virtual, or we could, I don't know, focus on certain topic. We try to react to how the community responds. So this is the channel on Kotlin. Slack is public, everyone can join, you can see the whole conversation there, join it, and yeah, like we would love to know, like, even if you have feedback in general for this dev room this year, to share with us, we will be more than happy to listen, and we are all there, so you will find us there. Yeah, some news on the licenses lottery.
Yeah. Anything more? You asked. No, fine. So we have 3 licenses to raffle. 2 of them will go out to people who were nice enough to tweet or contact us on Kotlin name. And the last one will be raffled tonight at the meetup, and I think there is somewhere a link for the excellent. So sign up so we know how many people to expect, and then you, Nick, or Martin will do the raffle.
Yeah, I'll be there, so looking forward to have some beers with you there. I just want to say a big thank you to Nico, who has been doing all the heavy lifting for several months, actually several years. He's the one who put Kotlin at FOSDEM, so thank you very much.
Thank you folks for coming, it was always awesome. Like, every time I say like, I should stop doing this, but then like I come to FOSDEM and I see so many people excited to talk about Kotlin, like it gives me so much joy, so I can't give up. That's why.
Well, we are back at the hotel. It's been a long day. It's been a lot of fun. My talk went really well. Lots of people very interested came up afterwards to talk about it. People messaged me on social media, all the kind of good things which you hope for a talk. It was really well received, which is good because this is one of the talks I plan to give throughout the year at different venues, different events. So it's kind of good that people seem to be enjoying it because there's going to be more of it. But that's where we're going to kind of wrap it up here today. I am going to try and go out to a meetup this evening, but I don't think I'm going to vlog. I'm exhausted, to be honest. It's been a very long day. So I'm going to go do that and relax for a bit, unwind, and then come back to bed. Tomorrow we are heading back home. We unfortunately couldn't stay for the full 2 days, so only staying for 1 day, but we will have another travel vlog tomorrow. So please do check that out. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.